You may have heard about CityWorks Expo. For years now, we've been bringing people together to share big ideas for better places. Expo connects innovators across the community and around the globe through an ongoing series of events, conferences, and social media. And our goal is to inspire and support people like you, the ones who have a passion for making their neighborhoods, communities, and cities better places to live, work, and play. Check us out at cityworksxpo.com to learn more. Become a part of the Expo community and share your story. You never know who you will inspire with your big ideas.
So, as Ed said, my name's Cameron Crowther, and my journey to the Expo stage kind of started about 2 weeks before last Expo. I was just starting my third year of law school, and I had just gotten back from Las Vegas, where my wife and I are from. It's where I did an internship that summer before. And I came home and my wife was on the couch crying, and when I was like, what's wrong? What happened? What did the kids do? Because that's usually the source of crying. But they're usually the ones doing it, so it's fine. And she said, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to Vegas. And I was like, well, why? That's where everyone we know is. That's where our home is. She's like, I'll miss the trees. So I don't know how many of you have been to Nevada. Apparently, some of you have. But there aren't a whole lot of trees. I think people outnumber trees and cockroaches outnumber people. So it's a great place to live for the people, but it's a little bit dry. And so I secretly was really excited about that because I hadn't had the best experience at the law firm that I had worked at. Great people, I just didn't love the practice of law. So apart from there being no trees, apparently there are also UFOs that are trolling Nevada, so we're going to avoid that for a few reasons. And so I started to look for a way to stay out in this area and also a way to stay out of the practice of law, which I had always thought I was going to do. I always thought I was going to be a lawyer, and kind of fortuitously, I had signed up for a class called Real Estate Development and Social Entrepreneurship, which was taught by a W&L law alum as well, and somebody who was a lawyer but decided not to practice law, and that was Ed. So Ed was my professor for a year, and in our first class session, he invited us all to Expo, and I think I'm the only student that took him up on that invitation. So I came and I sat over there in that corner, kind of hid by myself, and thought, what am I going to do? I've got student loans, I've got a kid, I'm married. I don't know how we're going to survive if I don't practice law, but I really don't want to, and my wife and I love it in this area, and we want to try to stay. So I just sat there and just kept watching what was happening and hearing about all the great activities that were happening in Roanoke, all the different programming that had been happening, and just the work that had been done by so many of you in so many parts of this country that I really realized it was what I wanted to be a part of. And so I started looking at how I might be able to get involved in this whole space-making environment, and particularly with real estate, since that was the class I was in. The assignment we received first from Ed was to go and find a project to do. He even encouraged us to try to figure out how to buy the Sears Tower, which I think somebody in our class may have tried to do, but that wasn't me. So he left it really open for us. It was great. It allowed us to explore our own interests. And so I looked at trying to find a property that I might actually be able to work with. I might actually be able to use to bring about some of the change that Roanoke has experienced. And for the last 3 years, I've been volunteering at a university in Rockbridge County, and kind of fortuitously, they're 60% of that town. It's Buena Vista. I know they pronounce it wrong, and it's hard for me. I've lived in Latin America, so I call it BV, because I just can't call it Buena Vista. Won't do it. So I found a building in BV, and 60% of downtown BV was for sale. And so it wasn't hard to find one, but it was hard to find one that I could work with. And we found a building. It was built in 1900. It was a mixed-use property, and it was in disrepair. The lady that owned it was really convinced it was worth what it wasn't, but we saw this town. We loved the people there. I think it's probably one of the worst towns with the best people in all of the United States. It's in terrible shape. It needs a lot, but it has amazing people that really just need to be invested in, and so we wanted to do that. And so through a series of different experiments that we worked on with Ed and some of the skills that he taught us, we were able to purchase this building, and we are now at full occupancy. It was mostly empty. It's a mixed-use property, and we have some of it pre-leased, but most of it's leased. And it has been both a blessing to my life and my family's because we've been able to sort of start this journey and find some financial stability, but it's also had effect on the community, which is really what we were trying to do. It's the only mixed-use property in all of BV that's leased completely. And as a result of that, people have come and stopped my wife and I and asked us, what did you do? How did this happen? And really, it's just some education. And so we've started some programming at that building and in the community to try to help others realize that there is a lot of potential in even these small towns. There's a lot that's being underutilized. There's a lot of assets that just need to be recognized. And some of these towns are just starved for good, positive energy. And that's what we were able to be a part of. And they've invited my wife and I to be a part of the Economic Development Council of the town. And we're bringing a food truck event to town. And we're just hoping to really excite the community. And I think that we've tapped into a lot of people who just needed something to believe in, and we hope that they're starting to, and we feel like they're starting to believe in the town again. And so it's been a great opportunity for me to both experiment with this, but also to see some changes develop, and kind of an invitation to all of you who are broke, because broke. I probably couldn't be a relevant player in a very large city, even back home in Las Vegas, and certainly not New York or Boston. And so those of you who are millennials or just other broke people, small towns can use you. If you have energy and you want to be a force for real change in a community, find a small town and adopt it, because they can use you and you can be a part of that sooner. And sometimes energy is really all you need in those communities where there are congested markets that you may have harder time accessing. So I've been tremendously grateful for all that Expo has done for me. It really changed my life, and the mentorship of Ed has been invaluable as well.